It's phenomenal what we're figuring out about the brain and what we're capable of. I like that this film and its concept is based in reality. It's about, hubris and science and what we feel we're capable of as humans, and is that right or wrong?
I think we're fascinated with dying and what happens after you die because I think none of us, I should say almost none of us, 99.9% of us don't want to die. And all of us want to believe that something happens after you die, that it's not just like falling asleep. Whether or not you do believe it or don't believe it, it's certainly comforting to think that there may be somewhere else to go.
What was it like? I mean, did you see anything?
Ultimately, it's sort of this conflict between, what is right and wrong when it comes to this idea of bringing something back from the dead.
You are a doctor. You understand how science works. It's by adapting.
You're not adapting. You are playing God with a bunch of dead animals.
When we meet our characters, they're working in a lab at a university, working on animals. They're developing a serum that will hopefully eventually be able to bring people back to life, people who have flatlined during surgery, people in comas.
Let's make some history.
The primary currency of neurons, which are the brain cells, is electricity, but they need blood flow to be able to generate electricity. And that's what we study in my laboratory.
Pulse.
Our focus is more on the electrical discharges that actually generates the function of the brain. And the function of the brain is anything that human beings can think about. So it's memory, it's actions, it's experiences.
These kinds of experiments are being conducted right now in the scientific community. People are trying to figure out ways to extend the life of brain functions so that we can take longer and longer and longer to resuscitate people and bring them back.
There's actually been a lot of advancements in post-mortem stuff, like they can bring people back after like 6 hours now.
I mean, that's amazing with the machine that does the CPR and all that stuff, it's kind of what our group is trying to do. We're trying to do it to a next level, but it's very fascinating to see that it's actually happening in the real world. We as human beings and animals and everything, we're meant to die. It is a part of life that it ends, and that's what makes life so amazing. But what happens when death becomes no more and you can live forever? I mean, everything changes, and obviously the people who can do the reawakenings become the most powerful people in the world. And that's a scary thought.
We don't know if he wanted to come back. We just took him.
What is it with you? I get 2 glasses of red wine and you and the Catholic girl comes out and...
I'm just saying, if we're going to be asking big questions, we have to be ready for the answers.
Science and faith are like 2 wings, and we need each other. Science needs faith, and faith needs science. And the big question here is, are we using science in order to defend and protect the dignity of the person, or are we using it for selfish pursuits?
I'm not gonna lose her. Not like this.
When they're talking about near-death states, most of them come from violence or trauma.
It's your dream.
And they come back with tales.
When I died, I went somewhere.
Zoe, that was a dream.
No, it was hell.
Hell is being very, very alone. It's a decision to be all alone in your own misery forever.
You may think that you can control the shift that has occurred, but you can't. And you begin to realize you're not the same as you were before. You find yourself suddenly more sensitive to sound.
What?
This idea of the electrical component, sometimes popping light bulbs.
You know how many emergency systems are in this place? The phones don't go dead.
You suddenly know things. You become aware of the future.
You've just been through a traumatic experience.
You need to let your body heal. Just try to take it easy, okay? I'll be right outside the door.
You see what we're forgetting here when we're playing with life and death? We're forgetting the soul.
From a Christian perspective, from an ethical perspective, we say death is when the soul leaves the body. So whether science defines death as a heart that has stopped beating or a brain that has ceased having activity, Well, in the end, from an ethical perspective, what matters is the soul still there? Now, of course, we can't find the soul, we can't touch the soul, but we can be sure that when that soul is gone, what we're seeing is something very, very different. It's a hollowed body. It's a body without a soul. It's not the person. It's not whom we love.
The most important part of all of this is brain injury and brain function. When the brain is gone, even if the heart, lungs, and every organ is working, the person is dead. The person will never be the same. This is what we call brain death.
Clear!
Many of these other organs have the ability to recover or regenerate. The brain does not. When we do CPR, what we're really doing is we're trying to, as much as possible, minimize the brain injury and injury to the organs. That's why you're doing chest compression. You're delivering oxygen. And when you get the heart back, you're hoping that the injury is not so much that the person has adequate quality of life to sustain whatever he needs to do.
That's too much neural activity.
You can play all kinds of games with the body. With our new electronics, our new resuscitation medicine, we're bringing back people that maybe were dead for 30 minutes. And they still have full brain capacity. Where we run into problems with that is, what's the mind like when they come back? Even if they didn't have a near-death experience, there's still going to be a difference in that individual's awareness of self and in that individual's ability to handle and work with their own mind.
I think something's wrong.
A lot of people will come down on either side of this debate, where some people think science is a natural thing and that these are boundaries that, are going to be crossed inevitably, and let's do it. And for other people, life is a holy thing, and you're not supposed to be violating these rules between life and death. And when something's dead, it's meant to be dead, and that it's a defilement to try to bring them back to life.
When we wrestle with whether or not we should try to bring somebody back after they've already seemingly passed, we ask ourselves, well, why not? And we could say, well, just because we can do something doesn't mean we should.